we'll see. It's going to be ad hoc.
They're all fun. Wave at the camera, everybody. We're starting this right now. Go around the room, introduce yourself.
My name is Keith Cardon. I'm a geologist. I grew up in El Paso, Texas. I ended up here in Oklahoma back in about 2008. First job was with Sandridge Energy, and I've been doing oil and gas ever since.
Sandridge found a lot of really cool acreage to go and make some incredible things happen.
You know, that was an interesting asset. The first thing that they did was that chert play down in the southern end of the Permian Basin.
Yeah, well, they found, a geologist found, hey, go down and drill through the chert.
Yeah, that's exactly right. No, that's exactly right.
Thank you, geologists, for giving us challenges.
Yeah, so, and that was a trip, and I'll be absolutely honest with you. I had really no idea about oil and gas. I was like a hard rock guy. You know, my thesis was on the Earth's mantle.
We haven't drilled to the mantle yet.
Not even close. The deepest one is a Russian deal that's like not even the middle of the crust. So don't get your hopes up for that one.
I poked fun. Man, I don't know how many podcasts I was into, but it really started driving me whenever we were having all the seismicity issues, you know, and they immediately went and shut in, you know, like, hey, no one's going to be allowed to do any kind of saltwater injection.
I was right in the middle of that, man.
It's bananas to me.
You.
I was as well.
And so were you.
And
American Energy Partners got put dead center in the middle of that fight. We had Galen on, and Galen Black, and he touched on it a little bit. But
Galen was a great guest, so you've got to level up too.
Well, you know, I'll try. Actually,
if you're not watching him, by the way, he's put out great content.
Oh well, thank you.
Yeah, tell us about your podcast real quick.
Yeah,
sure. So I just about 2 months ago, you know, I was at a point where I had to do something, and I was actually talking to Matt Tommy, and you know, I actually keep in pretty close touch with him. I don't know if you know, but he just had a baby.
Oh yeah,
he's on the night shift.
So, a little girl.
Yeah, he sent me a pic.
Yeah, he's a dad now.
For him.
Yep.
Is he ever going to move back here?
I've been trying to bug him too.
I wouldn't either if I was like, man,
living in Florida.
You know, and his wife works, and
there is oil and gas in Florida, so he could, you know, pull off a company there.
You know, I do want him to come back. I think he secretly wants to, because you know, I'd really like to kind of do a little capital raise with him.
Yeah,
you know,
go start a little. Again, we talked in the last podcast. You know, there's going to be all these fluff off, you know, acreage points from these bigger companies. Like, we don't want this part of it. Cool, we'll take it.
Yep. And there could be some good opportunities with that, I agree. But how the podcast started is, you know, like I say, Matt and I have been in touch, and I'm at this kind of critical venture. You know, I've been firing off these generic LinkedIn job interviews and knowing that I don't fit in any of these big companies. And he was just like, you know, he's the one that said it. There's a gap in the geoscience and the geosteering podcast space. And he's right. And I don't know if y'all know, he's like obsessed with geosteering in the sense of its importance with cost cutting and with respect to, you know, really the whole future of the company.
Okay.
You know, where we put that bit in the rock is really the most important thing that's happening.
And his book outlines why every dollar saved now, you know, 100x, right? Everything, you know, he thinks of as an engineering standpoint and monetary, you know, his book, you know, elaborates on
shale cash flow.
He's a good writer. Both of his books are good reads.
Yeah.
Well, and I think he's working on a third right now. And then after that, you know, it kind of gives him time to do the new dad thing, work on this third book, and then maybe he re-enters the scene.
So,
you know, we'll see.
Speaking of Matt, he's also... It's interesting that he kind of spurred your podcast.
Yeah.
But he was also your first guest.
Yep.
And it was my favorite episode.
It's got the
and by the way, the Grizzled Geologist, if somebody wants to go find him on YouTube. But it was my favorite video. I shared it with several people, but you guys got into talking about mining on the moon.
Yep, mining and drilling wells on the moon.
And the clips off that show were fantastic. So this is interesting. I had never really heard anybody talk about that until you guys did.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks later, Sean Ryan interviews a guy named Steve Quast on his show, and they're talking about China mining helium-3 on the moon.
Yep.
It was a 3-hour podcast about it. So I get bombarded by this thing that I didn't even know was going on, and it sounded crazy. And the longer you guys talked about it, the more interesting it became. And it was I watched it like 2 times because I thought I missed some things, and I shared it with several people. And then when Sean Ryan interviews, Steve Quest on his show, like it was another great episode, and they're talking about all the same thing. But now I was kind of educated about it because of you guys, and it's intriguing. It's crazy. Well, I mean, China's mining on the dark side of the moon.
Okay, first of all, Joe Rogan doesn't even believe that we landed on the moon at all.
Well, China's mining helium-3 there.
Are they?
Yeah, I don't know
Apparently.
about this. I just know that Matt came up with a crazy idea.
But it was great.
Matt, Tommy, look at what you've
It's
started.
fun to think about. Yeah, thanks,
First
Matt.
of all, you made us friends. That should be terrifying to everybody out
Definitely. That's a double trouble right there, right? You might get your ears might be bleeding by the time you're done.
there. Yeah, and our next show is going to be oil and gas after dark. The things that we always wanted to say but haven't yet.
I love it. Yeah.
But it was
I
great
don't have
because
enough money to get canceled that fast yet either.
Well, I don't know. You never know. You getting canceled might turn the page into more money,
Okay.
So you never know.
yeah, the little snippets of your show that you put on Facebook, that's what drew me in, because I'm scrolling through there, and all of a sudden I see Matt and Tommy and is talking about mining on the moon. I'm like, oh wait, I got to go back and listen to this.
That's
He
his
was
next
incredible.
book, Mining on the Moon by Matt and Tom.
Well, and he did all of his homework ahead of time.
Oh, it
Put on
was
a tie and
fantastic.
everything.
Yeah, he already had a spreadsheet on how he's going to do it.
Straight up.
Impressive.
Well, and he was like really into it too. That's the thing. Like the reason I was like down is he's like, dude, I've been thinking about this my whole life. I've woken up from dreams from this.
He's going to get a big head us talking about him. Let's talk about you. Like, okay, so background, where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised in El Paso, Texas.
El Paso. So did you know people already growing up in oil and gas?
No, I really didn't. There was one person who worked for El Paso Natural Gas, and he was more of like a pipeline super. But no,
Is that where you got interested in geology?
No, and so that's I kind of subversive, not I kind of secretly did, but it was my love of mountains and going camping.
It's beautiful down there.
Yeah, it is. We had Ruidoso, and so I'd go up to the mountains and do stuff every year camping wise. But no, I'm actually, and people close to me know this, I'm actually I'm kind of more engineering in practice than I was going to school for engineering. So
Fortunately for us.
yeah, and then I touched a billion-year-old rock, and then I was like, okay, it's more like all the sciences combined into one thing.
Mm-hmm.
You're outside, and then there's a lot of beer involved too, and I thought that was fun. So
Beer and geology go hand in hand.
liquor and guessing.
I'm guessing the first, really, we've all had this, push, for so many years now, but the microbreweries and all the spin-offs, we everyone got away from Budweiser cans, years ago. It was probably a geologist that started the first home brewing kit.
Oh, probably. No, we're well known, and that's one of the things. They are the kind of known as being the kind of.
I got my Birkenstocks, I got these rocks, and I got a brew kit at home.
Yep.
I'm set.
Yep.
Grateful Dead poster on the wall.
Totally.
I have a total theme for you.
Yeah, I love it. And and that's the thing. You kind of get this bipolar geologist. You get these really introverted, they went to school of mines. And they're all fancy and
And that's great. We need those too.
Yeah. No, of course. But I kind of tend to be more into the
You're the earth sciences / you're a petrogeologist.
Yeah, and I do like kind of the engineering components of stuff. It resonates with me, and so I'll be honest with you. It's not geologists that are getting me jobs. It's my engineering friends that have a geologist that understands the engineering component.
Immediately you're a really good geology project manager, and you can take care of a lot of firms needs for geology. There's so many people out there that I don't need a geologist full time, but I can call you and you can do projects.
Yeah, there's opportunity in that.
Oh man, consulting geologists are great to walk into any situation, especially now that our industry is so fractured. Since I'm going to use geology puns during this.
Yeah, that's a good one actually.
But because now with your expertise, we can go out and look for resources, not only just for oil but gas. We're really hopeful for natural gas right now, and then we also are geothermal's catching up really quickly to be at that same molecule
I've always been a fan of geothermal. Growing up in the Rio Grande Rift, El Paso, and the whole heat flow, and I was a mantle guy too. So I'm talking, these big Earth scale things. Just west of El Paso is what's known as the Mesilla Bolson. That's a Spanish word for purse. It's a basin.
Okay,
right?
the purse, the basin.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's like a purse filled with sand, right?
Right.
So that Mesilla Bolson, I've always kind of wanted to push the edge, and I'm into big ideas, big projects, and so long story short, after my stint with Sandridge and natural gas tanked, I was on the street, and that was my first foray into the real world consulting. And right when and it was from Sandridge, I probably had $5,000 and just the box of clothes from school at that point still. And but what I did was reach out to a software company, and I still am I have a very soft spot in my heart. I love software. I kind of view it like video games, like it's something that I become a practitioner in, and I like to know how to use all of them and these kinds of things. But I was using this really high-end structural software where you could actually break the rocks, put them back together. It was for that Sandridge deal where the rocks were sticking up straight and the 3D wasn't worth shit, And so anyway, what I did was reach out to that software company, and I was like, look, I'm like a high-end user of your software. I understand it's like $150,000 a seat license. This is in 2008. And, but, is there anything I can do? And the next thing you know, I was on a flight to Scotland. And,
wow.
Yeah, so they brought me out, and this is before there were real brand ambassadors. The internet and the whole social media thing wasn't quite there. This is 2009, it was just starting. It was still, what was the first one? MySpace?
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably still had a MySpace at the time.
Man, I'm so bad at social media. I always bet on the wrong stuff. I knew that MySpace was going to
be the one.
Well, yeah, because I forgot how lazy people are.
Yeah.
Like MySpace, you could get off in the weeds and do all kinds of work on it, and it could be so tailored to exactly how you like it.
Is it still open?
No clue.
No clue.
But I
think I still have an account on it, maybe.
Probably.
But
that same dude, Tom, or whatever. You remember, they had that.
And Tom, I'm friends with Tom.
Yeah, you know Tom.
The funniest thing was everybody ended up going to the cookie cutter when,
Yeah.
it just felt
easy.
It was easier, and that's what they used.
I never
disappointed
expected
in
to
that.
be having to worry about the whole social media thing, but I'm feeling kind of detached from it in the sense that I'm not really, with the podcast and everything like that. And I do want to just jump back. That Mesilla Basin, the Bolson,
there we
just
go.
watch for that. There's some pretty high temperatures at relatively shallow depths, pushing 275 degrees at 9,000 feet.
Well, the molecule in itself, is what I forget how they measure, for natural gas, it's the molecule, but in geothermal, the other term, oh man, help me out, everybody.
Some kind of joules per kilogram.
Right. But, that
heat capacity,
so you name each one, and then the geothermal's coming way down in prices because geologists who know our industry and all the engineers are able to start getting those efficiencies to where that is going to be competing with natural gas pretty quickly.
Yeah, and I'm going to not lie. I've always kind of thought that was one of the more sensical and straightforward processes.
And hey,
all of these other
oil and gas guys love it because it's another skill set that we are able to apply what we do. And you need a lot of oil and gas to get to geothermal.
Yeah.
Our products are going to be used no matter what.
Absolutely.
And same thing, we're going after hydrogen now.
Yeah.
Lithium.
Yeah.
In
it's
Kansas,
really nothing
they're
we can't
drilling
mine.
for hydrogen in Kansas.
Yeah.
Right
Helium.
And that's what I've always been like that. I'm not sure where we were before I sidetracked back to the Mesilla Basin, but I've always been kind of edgy like that. I've liked to push the envelope, think about new ideas, combining,
I just think
kind of hybridizing.
We got there because we're thinking of all the ways that you're helpful to anybody that wants to go out and discover what's in that rock,
right?
And how can we utilize it to create human flourishing with those resources.
And I'm not exclusive to just oil and gas. I love gold and silver. And in fact, this summer, or right before this summer, my brother-in-law, and I were out in Arizona looking at a prospect, and we're going to do. It was a kind of a blend. It was a gold prospect with it's got some danger and.
Do you know how to find gold?
Yeah, absolutely. My brother-in-law knows a lot more, but I'm in.
We got to go panning for gold with him.
I would love to go out there and do that.
Well, I mean, and I can't really invite.
I'm addicted to the show Gold Miners.
Yeah,
I'm addicted to it.
Yeah, I've seen. So a friend of mine, John Lamb, he was actually an oil field service guy for a long time. coil tubing. He was running consultants. And anyways, back after I got let go from Sandridge, I had become friends with him, and I'd picked up some contract work for like some early geology stuff, but he and I have been long friends ever since. I just love the guy. And he had a brother-in-law that had a claim in Alaska that my brother-in-law and I, I guess it's about 10 years ago at this point, went out, put together the package and flipped that little gold property. And it's a gold producer now. It's in Ketchikan Island. And then, like I say, we just went to Arizona this summer, and we might have like a little copper deposit or, something to work on. So, that's more side hustle thing. And I'm not really a mineral explorationist other than, what I can remember from back in the day. But my brother-in-law is serious about it. He's, in a sense, in terms of like kind of what I do within the oil business here in Oklahoma City, he's a well-known and respected guy on the exploration and for hard minerals, everything from gold to lithium. In fact, one of my first podcasts, he was the one that was on there that we did the antimony mine that he was working on. So anyway, yeah, geology's been, it's been a really interesting career path. I've had, a lot of success with it. But, over the years, one of the things I've also realized is that we do take a lot of heat in this business, and we're kind of one of the first ones to go when people do.
I would poke fun at you guys. The very first person I would poke fun at like, man, if I'm on a budget here and my, people that funded this company are mad at me, I'm going to point at the geologist like, well, all they do is point at the rock and go gather some oil over there somewhere nearby.
Hey, listen, a really wise guy, a really wise mentor of mine told me to stay as close to the wellhead as you possibly can as a geologist.
Okay.
Because that's where, there's always a revenue stream there.
Yeah.
Right? And so when you're in exploration, that's actually the most at-risk geology job you can have, because that's the first program to go. Drill programs necessitate having geologists involved. And I don't care on all of them, even the easy ones that are just straightforward. It takes the geology piece and then the geosteers. And again, a company's rate of return is really related to two things. And it's related to the rock quality that they actually have underground and the ability of their geosteers to stay in the right place. And so I don't see that going anywhere anytime soon.
So that's where the engineering comes in, right? Like I think a lot of people can be geologists, but not everyone can geosteer.
No, and
that you really have to have an engineering mindset.
That's why Scott hired me. Is that my
it's
whole
a tough
thing
job.
is all trig. It is an engineering thing. I take what I interpret from the rocks and give that to a drilling engineer to make the well plan, and that well plan is the cornerstone of what's happening at that rig, right? And any deviation from that needs to be understood, and needs to be understood by the whole crew. And so it really all starts with that geology, but I agree. And that's where I've made my money. I just came in here as an explorationist. That is kind of the fancy job, the exploration manager. You're in front of the board, the people with money. Turns out those aren't my favorite people anyways. It's my people in the field that I relate to.
Yeah, well, you're going to go out and work with them and go accomplish your, dreams.
No, I just got to go
goals.
storytell to these people, right? I'm spending time making PowerPoints, which thank God at Revolution was not what I had to do. I had an operations focus, and I picked up anything else we had to do. But, I was really able to sharpen my teeth and take plans that I'd worked with some of our other friends like Jared. Like my little geosteering methodology, my ops plan, started at White Star, and we started getting it together and staying in zone. Scott Causey continued the legacy. And, our problem at White Star had nothing to do with whether or not we were in zone. It was a rock quality issue.
100%.
And so, being able to develop that with the engineers, and it was never with the geologist. Again, I love my geologist brothers and sisters, but at the end of the day, like my more important relationships have always been with the engineering side, even when it comes to the exploration, reserves classification, volumetrics. And you can even argue petrophysics is a crossover between engineering and geology anyway.
Yeah, you're a petrophysicist in a lot of ways.
So
just the entire geology spectrum though is always just intrigued me. Even like the stuff you guys are doing now is unbelievable. Like we continue to go deeper and deeper and deeper. Especially in the Permian Basin. They're now at 17,000 feet drilling laterals. And the ability for you guys to just keep finding these reserves blows my mind. But even more than that is going back 100 years ago when a geologist would travel across the country and find outcroppings in 2 different places and say, okay, somewhere in the middle there's a trap, drill down and
It was that.
and understand where it is and hit an oil and gas well. Like, that just blows my mind how those guys did that without any computers, anything.
And they
were able to,
that's the thing. They got the blowouts out of it.
and found these pockets of oil and gas just simply by where the rocks come out of the surface, and understanding what was happening below it that they couldn't even see. And they had no 3D modeling. They didn't have seismic data. They had none of that stuff.
Nope.
Just their basic understanding of how the earth was formed and rocks. And they were able to do that stuff. It's amazing.
The West Edmond Hunt and Lime Unit, I mean, it's legend, but I mean, that's 1942. It was found with a divining rod. Old Gus Gutowski went out there with a divining rod and
The
picked
great
his first location.
Grotowski. Yeah, so I met, his, I had her on, the whole.
Scott told me about that back when
gosh,
she first came on.
She's fascinating in the fact that she's curated everything about everything, his information, the oil and gas field.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got a giant book ready to go. Somebody should write that, and hopefully a mini series or a movie about that whole
It's
period.
a killer story, man.
Killer story.
Yeah, unbelievable. And really and for me, and so I had an interview the other day and I got sidetracked, I'm telling stories, but I just remembered what I got sidetracked from, and it did have to do with Whaloo. When it was time to leave White Star, I kind of had 2 choices. I had Aubrey's son that I kind of offered something, and then I had Scott. And Scott's funny. He matched what I was doing at White Star to like the penny. And hey, well, your insurance is more expensive here, so I'm going to bump it up here on this side. He was like, I showed him my pay stuff.
They're so terrifying when they do that.
Oh God, so he matched it to like the penny, which is obviously I appreciated that. Made the movie easy. It was wonderful, but where was I going with that? See, that's what I'm saying.
Well, you start thinking about all your friends and their proclivities for neuroses. No, it's neuroses.
Oh, no, but I remember I got sidetracked off the same story. But so I met Van Sickle and I talked with Eric and Jack. And the one had a little bit more on the money side, but Scott brought the log of Whaloo to the interview. That was it. And that's how I was going to tell these other people in the interview. It's like, listen, I can like you guys, I can like the bunny, but at the end of the day, the smartest move you can make as a geologist is knowing your rock and picking the job that has the best one underneath your feet. Hands down.
Okay, well, he's going to be a mini series on this podcast. Obviously, I just want you, like, any time. I know you have your own stuff going on. Remind everybody what that is.
Oh, yeah. I've got the Grizzled Geologist Podcast.
Love that.
Thank you. I thought it nailed the branding. I mean,
you nailed it.
It's recognizable, but the main places that you'll find me is on YouTube. All my videos are there. I think I've been doing it for 2 months and I've got like 24 videos, 30 minutes.
So good.
It's already, I appreciate that.
I got to be lucky and be a guest on your show.
You were.
That was a lot of fun.
And obviously YouTube anytime. And so I've got this podcast, and really the main places I'm focusing on is on LinkedIn because that's truly my target audience.
It's our people. It's our Facebook.
Yep. Exactly.
And hey, I'm Bob. Let's promote Collide. Hopefully,
okay.
I worry many times that if, that company out there in California ever decides to not like what we do,
right.
It's just like a couple buttons and we're all like, everybody in oil and gas, deplatform them today.
Yeah.
So we don't have our own platform.
Right.
And we will immediately fall apart a little bit.
Yeah, no, that would be catastrophic. And
catastrophic.
Pray something like that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, we can find we have each other's phone numbers and emails, but just that content sharing
it keeps
goes
you in
away
the loop.
just like that.
And just like Facebook for family, you hear a lot of
Facebook for family, LinkedIn for us.
I'm not going to go meet my family members on X. It's a war zone. Facebook is where you share, where you share family pictures.
X is where I find people that I can trigger with a couple key words, and then I get all my gold points or gold coins like Mario Kart from hate mail.
100%.
And it's so exciting to me. I'm like, oh man, look how many hate mails I got. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, I've taken a step back from X because it's
too easy. Yeah,
too easy. So.
I don't get triggered, man. You can't trigger me.
Yeah,
but I look for people that I can trigger just for fun, and then it's like, oh, here we go. Yeah. I'd gotten in trouble because there was some what's called left-leaning Libby, dipshit. I'm just gonna say it, but they were in a nearby place in Edmond, but I'm real easy to find. And they found my phone number and started making threatening phone calls. And of course, I know people in law enforcement. I'm like, hey, give this person a call and let them know that, I'm very well armed.
Yeah.
And you guys are too, and I don't know, I don't want it to where it's annoying enough to me where I show up and knock on the door and I'm the problem now.
That's what I'm saying, right? So no, that's what I'm saying. Like Twitter is or X is only place it may go to real life.
Yeah,
so know what?
Hey, keyboard cowboy, it was I don't care what you say or do, except for if you bring the reality of you saying there's a threat against you, and I know that you're fan. Okay, now here's the deal. I'm coming over.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
You just invited me to come over.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly why I'm not doing much on X. It's mostly LinkedIn and YouTube, and honestly, I'm happy with the growth. I'm not too worried about it. And
you're going to grow.
Short clips are great though.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
The short clips are fun. I like scrolling through and catching them. If you got a few minutes and you just kind of watch a few of them.
Let's promote his event too coming up. The
sure.
AAPG
MidCon.
AAPG MidCon is going to be up in Tulsa again.
No, it's here in Oklahoma City.
Oh, it's in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, in fact, I can actually do a quick look here.
Give it all the information.
Yeah. So in fact, if you go onto LinkedIn today and YouTube, Molly Turco.
Good job.
Molly's awesome. Troy Johnson and I did a little, I put together a little promotional video for him. I went down and walked around and caught my own B-roll. And then we kind of filmed us interacting in the place. Molly gave me some B-roll from a bunch of her field trips. And so check that out today. So the AAPG Mid-Continent Sectional, it's going to be October 7th through 9th. I'm actually going to have a booth there. We're going to have some prizes, podcast, potentially a live stream. But they've got a whole bunch of events teed up, technical sessions, field trips. But check it out. Made my first first produced video. It's got animations and it's got a background. And the first time I picked up the software was on Monday. So I do need some. I need some feedback, if I'm.
You don't want mine. I'm just harsh on my friends.
It's all right. That's what I want. The real stuff.
You're a negative Nancy sometimes.
No, I'm funny. I just rather poke at my friends, and that'll make it's fine. It's good.
Yeah.
I'm poking at you because it's probably pretty good.
Yeah. So I couldn't put something that was going to be bad up, but I'm very happy and proud of it. It's something that really made sense to me, and I'm glad I was able to do it, and new pathways, maybe picking up a new job here, and I don't see any kind of interference with this podcast.
No,
I can do it in the evenings, weekends.
You can do whatever you want, or you'll start your own. All right, and thank you, Josh, for being here and being my co-host and bringing in our friends.
Thank you, Pharaoh Energy Services, for letting us have the podcast studio here at the office.
We have a pretty nice studio, and thank you to all the sponsors for Oilfield Tailgate. This is a Talking Energy show. Go to oilfieldtailgate.com. Please be a sponsor and support everybody in our industry. We'll see you next time. Take care. God bless you.
Adios.
Bye.